Hi, this is Greg Lewis. Here we are on February 2nd, Groundhog's Day. Seems like we're going over and over, repeating all the things that we keep happening to us with chaos and confusion from the Trump administration. One of the things I examined thinking about it was arrogance. The Trump administration is one of the most arrogant I've ever seen. Um, we've had arrogant presidents before. LBJ's arrogance led to Vietnam War. Nixon's arrogance led to Watergate. Clinton's arrogance led to impeachment. Um, Cheney and neocons influencing Bush led to the Iraq War. Where will the arrogance of Trump lead? I'm not unfamiliar with arrogance. I've seen it in Vietnam. When our platoon, which was blessed with some fine sergeants, Sergeant Gary Johnson, who actually gave his life to save us as he led us, as he moved to the point when there was enemy activity. There was Sergeant Jack McBride, a wonderful, wonderful career U.S. Army non-commissioned officer who always led us and with gleam in his eye and with grit and carried every load that we carried. Then there was my good friend, Sergeant Odell Newton, intelligent, thoughtful, making sure we followed the right procedures when we were in difficult situations. But we were cursed by an arrogant second lieutenant came into our platoon, refreshing country, very arrogant, big head, big thoughts. Arrogant people kind of also fixate on certain things like moth to a flame that seem very odd. He was fixated on grenades, and the grenades have limited use in the jungle, triple canopy, because they might bounce back to you, especially in also rough terrain. So you're only limited use. But he carried a lot of them and ended up actually wounding himself with a grenade by throwing a white phosphorus grenade. I actually saw him get a Purple Heart for it, which is he just did it himself. I saw, as an attorney, I saw a very arrogant judge who would beat up on my low-income single-parent households, and it would be offensive to both lawyers and clients. And actually, outside the courtroom, attacked a couple that were trying to fill gas up when he pulled up at a gas station, chased the husband around the gas station. Husband grabbed a wrench in the Bay Area and from the mechanic and clunked the arrogant judge in his forehead with a big goosebump, knocking him out. Maybe you should knock all arrogant people out. I ran into a city manager who was so arrogant and disrespectful to his fellow department heads and leaders, and had the big head, all knew everything, talked big words, and ended up having a big scandal. And I ended up representing the mayor and council to negotiate his termination of his employment. These arrogant people have existed, and now we have one of the worst we've ever seen in Trump. Imagine the arrogance in telling the Mexican president that he was going to send American troops to Mexico because the Mexican troops and police weren't brave enough; they were weak, and but his troops weren't. That's so insulting to Mexico, and Mexico has a history with us. Mexican War, the incursion of General Pershing and troops. This is a real broadside to an important ally of Mexico. And then he continues it by going to Australia in a telephone call with the Australian leader, and proceeded to brag about all his election returns, and then got into a more heated conversation about an agreement reached between the United States and Australia about bring some refugees to the United States to assist Australia. Australia's always been here for us. So we have to do all we can in regard to this situation to deal with the arrogance of Trump. We can't have him insulting our Australian allies in the manner in which he abruptly stopped the conversation with the Australian leader. This arrogance is very disruptive. It is dangerous. It can cause a great deal of harm in our relations around the world. So let's do all we can to resist Trump, and let's hang in there, and we'll work on this until we get it done.